Hello, I am Dr. Agilasamy from Chennai. I am going to show a case of recurrent sinusitis, an interesting case. Recurrent sinusitis over the past 16 years and repeated different types of sinusitis. This is a CT scan taken in January 2005 showing a deviated nasal septum to the left side. You can see on this coronal CT scan picture and left maxillary chronic sinusitis. Mostly it's a bacterial chronic sinusitis. Rest of the sinuses looks all right. This patient is a surgeon in late 30s. When she presented, I advised her to undergo septoplasty and first surgery, but initially she was not reluctant to undergo left MMA as well as septoplasty. And in 2007, she came back to me again. This CT scan picture in 2007. I posted for septoplasty as well as MMA, but the previous night the husband of the doctor, a physician, took a CT scan. Even though I told him no need for a CT scan, repeat CT scan. Always repeat CT scan whenever you do first or a sinus surgery if the previous scan is only more than 3 months old. So to my surprise, the left maxillary sinus has resolved only minimal sinusitis, but to my surprise, there's a gross posterior ethmoid as well as sphenoidal sinusitis on the right side. Heterodensity looks like a fungal sinusitis. So if I had clinically DNA showed no clinical relevation and DNA in fact was normal. So if I had done a repeat CT scan by the done by the husband of the patient, the physician, the previous day, I would have overlooked the right posterior ethmoidal and sphenoidal sinusitis, and I would have just done a septoplasty and left MMA and came back, and she would have developed a left right optic nerve injury, vision loss or compression by this fungal material. So always a lesson to learn, always repeat CT scan if it is older than 3 months. So this time I took the patient for an right posterior model and sphenoid clearance, and combined with an middle meatal antrostomy on both the sides. This is a DNA, hardly showing any discharge, polyp or anything. But when I medialized the middle turbinate under general anesthesia, I could see little polypodal things in the middle meatus. The first step is I had done a right partial middle turbinectomy. So in 2007, I had taken this patient under general anesthesia. Those periods I do mostly under general anesthesia. Nowadays, I do most of my first under local anesthesia. So this is a MMA on the right side, which is quite all right, normal. In 2007 itself, I used to do around 20 to 30% of my first case under local anesthesia, rest under GA. Now hardly anything under local anesthesia. After the MMA, I am opening the posterior ethmoid and the sphenoid, and I removed the fungal material. From the posterior ethmoid and the sphenoid. That's a posterior ethmoid, just lateralizing the superior turbinate. To have a good access to the sphenoid sinus, and the fungal material I have removed. So I am showing the edematous mucosa within the sphenoidal sinus. So I am widening the sphenoidal osteal area, and you can still see some residual fungal material which I am cleaning it up. So I will be connecting the posterior mud and the sphenoid together so that the postoperatively we will get a good postoperative cavity. This patient had a lateral recess on the right side too, and the fungus was involving the lateral cells, which I removed it with the angled section. For a completion sake, I am doing an MMA on their right side. That's mini fess. Just remove the lower one third of the uncinate, and with the backbiting forces, I am doing an MMA on the right side too. But the maxilla sinus showed edematous mucosa, as you saw in the CT scan picture, edematous mucosa, but hardly any fungal material or anything. So that's a very good big MMA on both sides, as well as the right posterior ethmoid and sphenoid has been opened, and right proximal terminectomy. This patient again presented in 2021 now with complaints of the sinus problem, and a fresh CT scan revealed bilateral maxillary sinusitis, but the posterior ethmoid and sphenoid looks all right on both the sides. And you can see on the CT scan heterogeneity on the left side mainly, and minimal on the right side. Both sides the MMA opening is wide and patent, but this still the patient has developed sinusitis. This is one point to wonder. If you do a big wide MMA, still the patient developing sinusitis. And the posterior ethmoid, you can see it's all right, and the ethmoid cavity is clean, done by the previous surgery, and the posterior ethmoid and sphenoid are all right. So this DNA showing the right side. First, this time I have taken under local anesthesia. This is a surgeon. Now the patient is in early 50s. Her husband is a physician. I'm packing the nasal cavity with a roller gauze soaked in 4% lidocaine with adrenaline. This is the left side. You can see the bulla, which is polypoidal, and you can see the upper two-third of the uncinate, and then MMA, which is discharging mucopurulent discharge, probably a fungal material. That's the allergic mucin being sucked from the middle meatus of the previous done MMA. The uncinate is also little polypoidal. I am packing the nasal cavity with the same solution of 4% lidocaine with adrenaline. So I am giving a left infraorbital nerve block because a lot of fungal material is on the left maxillary sinus. I need to work little more on the left maxillary sinus. This is a DNA on the right side. You can see the very word MMA on the right side, and I am giving the sphenopalatine block, and the sphenoid sinus is wide pattern, and the sinus looks perfectly all right. Maxillary sinus has an edematous mucosa on the right side with little fungal material. That's a septum in the sphenoid sinus between the main sphenoid sinus and the lateral recess. That's the optic nerve and the carotid. That's a LOCR. That's a lateral optico-carotid recess. So I am giving an spinopartum block on the left side also, because the main surgery will be on the left side. You can see the good blanching of the spinopalatin area. For an added advantage, I am giving a Geratan palatin block on the left side too. That's opposite the second molar teeth, midway between the midline of the hot palate as well as the alveolar margin. Now I am sucking out the fungal material from the right maxillary sinus. Around 4 to 5 millimeter of fungal material was there with the edematous mucosa. Later I will be little shaving or thinning out the edematous mucosa within the right maxillary sinus. Gently I am rubbing the without traumatizing the thing. You can see little mucosa discharge everywhere. Try not to traumatize the mucosa. Mucosal preservation is very important. Now I am going to the left nasal cavity, showing of the polypoid tissue over the bulla, and little widening the middle metal antrostome, which I got done, which is by the polyps and polypoidal tissue has been little narrowed. And this lower upper two-third of the uncinate, little taking the middle one-third of the uncinate out. You can have a glimpse of the fungal material within the left maxillary sinus. This is the beauty of the local anesthesia, hardly any bleeding or anything. All these patients I do as daycare procedure in the morning and discharge in the afternoon or in the evening. And I never pack the nasal cavity nowadays for any FES or septoplasty cases. We do the surgery under normotensive or hypertensive anesthesia. If the patient is hypertensive, we don't give any hypotensive agents. We give a good IV premedication of fentanyl with dexmedetomidine. Since the patient has repeated episodes of sinusitis and bad fungal sinusitis on the left side, I am taking out the inferior turbinate on the left side so that I can have a very big or nasalize the left maxillary sinus so that nothing can stagnate within the maxillary sinus. With the shaver, I am taking out the remnants of the inferior turbinate, tax, mucosal tax. I am taking it out. Even though after a good turbinectomy, it hardly bleeds. That's the beauty of the local anesthesia. and the patients are very comfortable and cooperative under local anesthesia with a good IV sedation. IV sedation should be adequate but not too much, so that the patient should be able to answer, swallow anything that trickles into the throat. Now I am shaving off the polypodal mucosa in the right maxillary sinus with the RAD 60 shaver blade. But don't peel off all the mucosa and everything. That is very, very important for good healing and everything, and post-operative good mucociliary action and everything. You can see the fungal material deep inside the left maxillary sinus. This with a 70-degree telescope. I am taking off the fungal material. I will be sampling it for the histopathological examination as well as the fungal culture. So I am taking the fungal material for the analysis without traumatizing the mucosa, but I am just taking out a bit of the antral mucosa for biopsy. That's for biopsy to rule out. That's for the mucosa from the antrum for the biopsy to rule out any invasive fungal material. Always a mucosal biopsy is needed to rule out whether it is invasive fungal or not. This is with a malleable ring curette. I am taking out the fungus in the deep anterolateral recess of the left maxillary sinus. Remember, I am doing the surgery under local anesthesia and patient is very cooperative, and we have to meticulously remove all the fungal material. Under general anesthesia, you can do washing and everything repeatedly, but under local anesthesia you cannot do washing because you will traumatize the mucosa. Sorry, you will the water that you irrigate will go into the throat and the patient may aspirate. So you have to meticulously remove the fungal material. I'll be doing the wet mopping, my technique of wet mopping also. Preserve all the mucosa within the sinuses, nasal cavity. Don't traumatize. Be very gentle. That's the meaning of the FES. That's functionally endoscopic sinus surgery. I'm gently removing the fungal material without traumatizing the mucosa. Little edematous mucosa, you can little shave it off, or that will be settle because we have removed the fungal material. Small bony fragments and loose bony chips, you have to take it off, otherwise post-operatively there will be granulation and everything. A little thinning of the edematous mucosa with a shaver. Even otherwise it's optional, even otherwise it will settle once the fungal allergic mucin has been removed. So all the fungal material has been removed and a little thinning out the edematous mucosa. This is a post-operative day 12 of the second surgery in 2021. That's on the right side. You can see the right maxillary sinus perfectly all right without any crust or any discharge or anything. Sphenoid is also perfectly all right. Already done a partial middle turbinectomy. That's very, very important so that you can have a very good glimpse of the sphenoid. If you do a partial middle turbinectomy, that's the biggest advantage to have a look at the sphenoid post-operatively. This is on the left side. Little crust at the inferior turbinectomy site, posterior end, and another crust over the within the left maxillary sinus where the mucosa has been removed for a biopsy. So don't unnecessarily remove or scrap or scratch the mucosa within the sinus or nasal cavity. They will all cause crusting and synechia, etc. So the more you preserve, the good for the post-operative healing and everything.
Thanks to Healthify Me and my coaches.
Thank you for watching. You can contact me at the following